One of the most hated characters in Game of Thrones is Walder Frey. But was he as stupid as people think? Or did he have a master plan of his own? In this video, we will discuss how Walder Frey hoped to rule the world. Although highborn, the Freys are looked down upon by other High Lords, having to settle for lesser marriages for family members. But Walder Frey had a master plan to make the other High Lords put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on my name.
Now known as Lord of the Crossing, Walder Frey is the head of House Frey. Now in his 90s, Walder Frey still stresses a family first and family loyalty attitude. Now the love and respect from his family can be seen throughout the generations, as many of them have named their children Walder, whether they are male or female. Now although he is fragile, no one in his family tries to usurp his power, allowing Walder Frey himself to maintain an active role in heading House Frey. Now throughout the Seven Kingdoms, Walder's biggest claim to fame is living out his wives and having so many children. It is said that he has 22 true-born sons and 7 true-born daughters from 8 marriages, with the number of bastards unknown. His wives were, first, Piera Royce, second, Brianna Swan, third, Mary Crackhall, fourth, Alyssa Blackwood, fifth, Sarah Wint, sixth, Bethany Rosbury, 7, Anna Farriswell, and 8, Joy Erinford. Now at the beginning of the War of the Five Kings, Walder is summoned by Edmure Tully when he calls his banners to protect the Riverlands from the Lannisters. Now Walder has his armies gather inside the Twins instead of rushing off into battle. Now while gathering his forces, Edmure is defeated by Jaime Lannister at River Run. Walder did not answer this call quick because he felt slighted that Hoster Tully did not attend his 8th wedding. Finally, the often looked down upon House Frey is now in a position of power when the Twins become a strategic necessity for Robb Stark, and Walder is not going to let this opportunity pass, so Walder negotiates marriage contracts with Catelyn. Robb will marry one of Walder's daughters once there is peace, and his sister Arya will be betrothed to Walder's youngest son, Elmar. Now in addition to this, 2 of Lord Frey's grandsons, Little Walter and Big Walter, are sent to Winterfell as wargs, and one of his sons, Oliver, is made Robb Stark's squire, while Robb is named King of the North and King of the Trident, and Walder gains more ground in the North by marrying his granddaughter, Walder Frey, to Lord Roose Bolton, the head of the Dreadfort. And although things are going Walder's way right now, he does get dealt a major setback when his son, Stebron Frey, dies at the Battle of Oscroft. Now this was his heir, and in all accounts he fought bravely. Word of Robb Stark's betrayal eventually reaches the Twins when they learn of his marriage to Jane Westerling. Furious, Sir Ryman Frey, who is now Lord Walder Frey's new heir, withdraws all support of House Frey immediately. Walder then sends his son Lothar to River Run to negotiate a deal that will have Edmure Tully marry Walder's daughter Rosalind at the Twins. However, Walder had secretly made a pact with Tywin Lannister and Roose Bolton, both men who said they would keep their word to Walder if he followed through with his plan, and he did. When Robb Stark and many of his key battermen returned to the Twins under guest rights, Frey and Bolton men ambushed Robb, slaughtering King Robb, Catelyn Stark, and any of their battermen that came, destroying the Northern Army. And with this, Aemon Frey, Walder's second son, receives River Run and its lands as reward. Now, the Red Wedding was devastating, but there's something that people have overlooked, and that is that Oliver Frey, Robb Stark's squire, was not present during the Red Wedding. And Catelyn realizes this, but she realizes this too late. Now we know that he was loyal to Robb Stark and he might not have gone through with the Red Wedding, but was there more? That brings us to the end of Dance with Dragons, the epilogue chapter, where Kevan Lannister brings up the Rosberry inheritance. And that's what we must talk about here. Lord Giles Rosby, head of House Rosby, is seen many a times in the court of King's Landing. Now, if you don't remember who he is the one who conspires with Cersei Lannister to take Prince Tom Baratheon out of the city but to keep him safe at Rosby, and they did this and disguised him as a page. But Jacqueline Bywater lays a trap along the Rosby Road, and Giles is captured along with Tommen and his bodyguard. Tommen is then held under house arrest by Tyrion's men instead of Cersei's at Rosby, and Sir Boris Blunt is found to be imprisoned in the dungeon. Sir Jacqueline, known as Iron Hand, has an iron hand strapped to his right wrist where he lost his hand, and he is the commander of the Mudgate during the Battle of Blackwater. Now, when the City Watch sees Joffrey retreating to the Red Keep during the Battle of Blackwater, they break. Jacqueline tries to rally them and seems to succeed, but he is then killed by broken men, when an arrow from an unknown quarter finds his throat. So, what are these broken men, and why is this word used specifically to say that they killed him? I mean, he's in battle. There's a lot of different types of warriors out there, but why specifically do they call these people broken men? Broken men, as defined by Septon Maribor, are wartime outlaws who began as small folks, who fled the services for a life of brigandage. So, broken men are outlaws who just show up to fight for whatever side and leave when the fighting is over. So by telling us that Sir Jacqueline was killed by broken men, George R. R. Martin is telling us that he wasn't killed by Stannis' forces. Or why bring up this whole broken men thing? So basically, he was killed by people that joined in the fight on Stannis' side, just so they can get close enough to him to kill him. We also see these broken men in the Riverlands, where they took over Derry until Harwin Plum has to take them out of there and retake the castle. Having broken men on your side would be an easy way to keep your hands clean, while still getting the job done, because people would think that these are just ordinary people. Now, Lord Giles, who is named Master of Coin by Cersei Lannister, the funny thing about him is that every time he comes around, we hear about him coughing. Now, he promises Cersei that he will have a statue made for the deceased Lord Tywin Lannister and place it at the Lion's Gate in King's Landing. Now, Giles then attends the wedding to King Tom Baratheon and Margaery Tyrell. Now we hear about a person only known as the ward of Lord Giles Rosby, and he refuses to give Lady Stokeworth shelter during her trip to King's Landing after Lord Giles dies in King's Landing from his cough. Later on is why we see exactly why this person known as the ward of Giles Rosby definitely refused Lady Stokeworth, because she believed that since Lord Giles had no heirs, that his land should go to House Stokeworth. Since Lady Tanda Stokeworth was aunt to Lord Giles' second wife and is the third cousin herself, she believed that she should get the lands. Now Cersei has a plan of her own, and she tells Grand Maester Pycelle to say that Lord Giles' last dying wish was to give the lands to the crown. Now, why is this land so important? This land hold most of the grain for King's Landing. This is where they get most of their stash of food. So the person who controls Rosby controls a lot of food supply for King's Landing. So it is very, very important to get control of this house. Now, Grand Maester Pycelle, who has been nothing but loyal to the Lannisters to the end, at this time tells Cersei that he believes that this will not work, because of the ward inside of the castle will not accept this, and he is going to be a problem for them getting these lands. Now, at the end of Dance with Dragons, we find out that 6 different claims have come in for the lands, and it has not been settled. And they pushed this away, the small council, saying they'll take care of it later. But what is Walder Frey's connection to all this? Why am I bringing up the Frey's name in all this? Well, I will tell you. Now, given the fact that every time we see Lord Giles, it is pointed to our attention that the man is coughing, we learn that the man is dying from this cough. So he's being poisoned. We've seen this with Joffrey and the Strangler. So the man is being poisoned by a really mild form of the Strangler, maybe a drop here, a drop there, or a little bit here until it gets the job done. So who would want to poison this man, and why? Well, we know the people who do the healing usually do the poisoning, and that is the maesters. And that could be a reason why Grand Maester Pycelle knows for a fact that it's going to be a problem with this ward inside if he has some connection to this maester. Now, we see Lady Dustin does not trust maesters. She calls them gray rats, and she says that they be whispering secrets into Lord's ears, and who knows what treachery they're coming of. And she says specifically that they dropped their last name so no one could know exactly who they are. Well, we know the name of this maester that was over here, and his name is Mel Rivers. And if we took away his bastard name and put his real house name there, if he was true born, his name would be Walder Frey. And that is the bastard of Walder Frey. So one of Walder Frey's known bastards is the maester, and I believe that he poisoned this man to death for this land. And why would he do that? Well, Walder Frey's sixth wife just happens to be Bethany Rosby, which would make any of their kids claimants to the lands. So that is the reason why I believe Walder Frey had an interest in going and taking these lands and trying to take control of King's Landing and try to take control of the grain. And whoever controls the grain supply during the long winter will be probably the person who controls the realm. So who are the 6 people who have put in claims for this lands? They do not say, but it just so happens that Walder Frey has 5 children that could be considered as heirs for this land, and Lady Starkworth would make the 6th. But that is not the question I pose to you, my people. The question I pose to you is, who is the ward that is holding these lands down? We do not get a name for this ward, and we do not know who this ward is. So I'm asking you, and I usually tell you exactly who I think it is, and I have a great idea who I believe that it to be. I want to know from you, who do you think this ward is? Put it down in the comment section below. Let me know who you think the ward is, and I will make a follow-up video. I will tell you who I think it is, and I will tell you the top picks of who people came up with who they believe the ward to be. And this is just one of many little mysteries that are hidden inside these books, and I will do many more of these videos talking about it, and I will get your opinions on who you think are the people behind these mysteries in the book. So please thumbs up my video if you like the way I do this. I need those thumbs up, people. It really spreads my video around and lets people see it. I have seen that the more thumbs up I get, the more views I get. So let's try to help a brother out. It's really just a great way to show me that you appreciate the work that I put into making these videos for you. So please just thumbs up these videos as much as you can. I truly do appreciate it. So if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace! And stay sexy.